25, you're not autistic. 50, some autistic traits, but likely
hold
not
the phone.
autistic.
You're just throwing numbers in autism. You gotta explain to everybody what you did. You can't just be like 25 autistic. Yeah.
Hold on, I got my wife wants to take.
I
this now.
showed you this. You don't need to send it to me.
Andrew, explain.
I'm sending it to my wife.
We're gonna take this from the top.
To see if she's autistic.
We're gonna take this from the top. Andrew.
Welcome to the newest episode of Reed's Script. My Mom Has Tourette's podcast. I'm your host. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Andrew, but that's definitely not Josh. I don't know who this is who's took over our podcast, but to start, as usual, we got our mom fact. This week we found out that one of our mothers was caught in a winter flash flood and was stuck on top of her car while it was submerged. It's quite interesting, you know, and it was in the winter, so you had the whole like, hey, it was rainy and then all the snow melted and then there was that much more water. It was like had to be like 4 feet of water. Yep. And she's just like on top of the car. Help! Welcome! Help them!
So I need to stop you before we move forward. Did you have to look at a script to know the name of the podcast? Have you been paying attention? These check script. May not have my 18 episodes.
I may or may not have notepad up for some notes.
Just in case you forgot it. That's fair.
Speaking of, that's where I'll start this week.
Ooh.
I got a text message from one of my old friends named Tyler, and he put me in a group chat with his brother and his brother's wife. And he was like, Andrew, you're not the only person to have thought this. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? So first of all, this man remembered something that I used to do when I was like 10 years old, which would have made him like 6. Which is impressive at that. But it was this video of Jennifer Lawrence and I think it's Emma Stone. Yeah, Emma Stone. And they were like doing an interview. And so when I was a kid, I would listen to a lot of radio music. And there's a song called Waterfalls by TLC. Is don't go chasing
waterfalls.
So when I was a kid, Tyler somehow remembered that I was confused to the title of what this song was and the whole meaning behind it, because I thought during the chorus they said don't go Jason Waterfalls, and I had thought that this dude was like some awesome dude. First of all, the last name Waterfall, and secondly, he was having 3 pretty women sing about him. Like, this dude's living life to the fullest. And then I found out years later I was wrong, and apparently that is like what's the word I'm looking for? What are those things called that everyone thinks they saw or heard, but it's not true technically. You know, like Mr. Monopoly.
Do you mean Mandela effect?
Yes, apparently it was a bigger Mandela effect because there were a couple celebrities talking about it, and I was like, bro, there's no way.
There were other people who thought it was Jason Waterfalls?
Yeah.
Don't go, Jason Waterfalls, exclamation point.
Yeah, and it made sense in my tiny brain from the 90s because the
next
lyrics are like, the next lyrics are like, don't go chasing the rivers you used to. And I'm like, bro, the metaphors here are out of this world.
I know, it's crazy because like the guy named Jason the Rivers You Used To is a crazy last name, you know?
Like, and that is just... that would have been absolute peak simile, metaphor, whatever you want to call it.
For
but
Jason.
No, apparently it was in an alternate universe. But yeah, so that was fun. I went to last night. My cousin had a little, I wouldn't call it a Christmas party. It was like, there was like 6 of us and we all just had snacks and played some Christmassy games. We had to take a spatula and we had a bowl and we got blindfolded and we tried to flip cotton bowls into this bowl. to see blindfolded to see you could get the most. I totally got the most, but whenever I went, they were like, we're gonna round up instead of actually count. I was like, oh, that's fun. So you said I got 20 cotton balls, and then you and your husband got 22. I find that kind of freaking suspect. Jeez, that's why this is why I don't hang out with my family. This is why I don't hang out with my family. And yes, Roger and Ashley, I'm calling you guys out, and Alex. So when you do watch this, know that I disagree with your garbage opinion of rounding. And you know what happened when they rounded? When it was their turn? We're going to round to 22. First of all,
what does that
you round
mean?
to 5s and 0s. You round to 5s and 0s. Everyone knows that since they were a kid. Bums.
Emotional damage.
There's a lot of damage there, and it is emotional. Also, I'm slightly upset that someone else is running the sounds now, not just me. But yeah, so had a good time at that little Christmas party. What else did I do this week? Don't think I really did much else. There was something I thought I had, but I don't remember. But yeah, that's what I did. What about
as he's
taking his headset off? Yeah, so
film
let's go with
this episode a week. Oh!
Josh is here. Where did he come from?
The Grant! What happened to the Grant?
I came from inside of him.
Oh, boy.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Grant. Josh.
We need a dinosaur roaring sound.
He did good on the intro for having never done it before. He even said he was you, so.
Yeah, I just went with it. I didn't really know what else to say.
Nathan went with it.
I went with it. Grant. So we filmed this little known secret that I'm sure you all know. We filmed this a week in advance, so I've not actually had any Christmas parties yet. And this will be coming out on the 24th, so good old Christmas Eve episode. But
Christmas Eve episode.
That's why we had the special guest, the Grant. But yeah, I've had a pretty chill couple of weeks, like usual. Not a crazy amount happened. However, before
Josh, why are you double fisting cups?
Because it's a double fisticup.
Double fisticup.
Fisticups, I like that. So I was just going to ignore the behavior until it went away. But he called it out, so yeah. I since actually the recording of the last episode that we recorded, which was the one that came out last week, yeah, that we filmed 2 weeks ago, I had just the day before, I think, put out a new video on my gaming channel, and that has since done really well, and I've been doing a weekly video since on there, along with the podcast and then other stuff, but that first one is now at like 5,700 views, and the most recent one is at 8,005 or 8,600, I think, which is pretty hype. That's people are really liking them.
Yeah,
so that's cool. And I'm just saying,
you deserve it.
Thank you.
He deserves it.
Thank you.
Loud. And what's cool, I mean, I do have the podcast linked in every description, so that's pretty cool. Maybe we'll get some more viewers just from those people hopping in, just figuring out what the heck else this weird guy who does Valheim stuff is doing. But apart from that, I'm actually going to be doing, starting in January, hopefully sooner rather than later, I'm going to be essentially the lead editor now for my job, for the guy that I work for out in California.
Let's go. Let's get some
hype.
Round of applause for this.
Excited for that because he wants to get me to the point where I'm able to just do full time for him. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm pretty happy about that because I love video editing. So will be pretty cool to see where that goes from here. But things are going well. Other than that, my wife took down her Christmas stuff in the classroom, and I threw that Christmas tree in the trash with all the Christmas spirit that I have. Oh yeah, wow. Because there's no kids left. All of them died. 2,000 years later.
2,000 years later.
So no, none of them died. They're just on Christmas break. Good for them. Happy. Well, they could have died. I don't really know. I mean, since then and now, but I mean, you hope for these things to not happen. Zoom in on the stain. And I'm trying to think of anything. I feel like I'm exceedingly bad at talking about myself and like dredging up what has happened because I feel like my life is generally very boring. So I always call attention to it. So really, I should just shut up and move on. Josh, how was your week?
Listen.
Go on.
Well, so we'll get the nice stuff out of the way, and then I have a very embarrassing story to tell. And I was debating telling it, but you know what? Like, we can't really express our true selves if we're not honest with our viewers.
Okay.
So, let's start off with this. So, my daughters are going to their biological dads for Christmas this year. I work a lot. So, today was the last day that we'll all be together before Christmas. So my wife really wanted to celebrate Christmas today, like the opening presents and stuff. We're still gonna have like dinners and stuff with family. So we exchanged gifts, and my dad and stepmom came over, exchanged gifts with them. My mom has a tradition with me where she buys me a Christmas ornament every year. And they're not like, oh, here's a red bulb for the tree. Like, they're specially created ornaments. And this year, she got me a really cool one. And it was a set of headphones and a microphone. And it says my name and the year. And underneath of it says, my mom has Tourette's.
Let's go.
Josh shared this, so now it's going to appear on the screen.
Josh's mom.
Well, here's my favorite part, because I just realized it. I still love it. But the word podcast isn't in it. So it's an ornament stating that my mom has Tourette's.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's even better. Do you have it with you? Can you just show in your camera?
No, it's downstairs. Hold on, let me see if bring it up.
I didn't even really think about that when you sent that to me because I'm so already numb to the sentence "my mom has Tourette's." It's not going to work very well.
Beautiful.
I mean, that says my mom has Tourette's. It's not very. I'll just share the picture. I'm honestly going to cut this little part because that didn't show up very well. No, I think that's absolutely hilarious though, and I hope if you put that in your tree, I hope you have one guest who comes over somehow doesn't know about your podcast and just sees that and probably doesn't bring it up. The fact that you have it in
ornament
that says my mom has Tourette's.
Why do you
see
have an ornament that says my mom
the thing
has
is,
Tourette's?
Everyone that knows Josh, that is friends with him, even if they don't bring it up, they will just constantly stare at his mother, trying to find like the Tourette's in her.
They'll be looking for any little twitch, or if like she says something a little weird or a little too much, maybe she's repeating. Yeah, there you go. See, yeah, we're making fun of them now, but yeah, Josh.
Is it making fun when you're just describing what they do?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there is a certain
like our mother has Tourette's, so wouldn't it just be explaining some things that she does?
One of our mothers does have Tourette's. This is correct.
Because in all reality, a lot of people with Tourette's shout out bad words. So
no.
They better.
No, that's fair. We'll make the audience clear. One of our mothers does have Tourette's, so we can make fun of them as much as we want. But
what? Whose mom has Tourette's?
Just kidding. Mine.
Okay, so I thought I knew what my wife got me for Christmas. Her and my mom went in on it. Okay, and out of nowhere, she didn't tell me what it was, but the hint she gave me completely changed what I thought it was going to be. And I was like, I only asked you for one thing. And then my mom's a terrible liar. She gives away family secrets, everything. Terrible liar. And I'm so proud of her because the other day I said, Mom, how big of a package is my present in? Without a stutter or a misstep, she immediately went, oh, probably this long.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
my arm's not long enough.
It's not what I thought it was. So, like, now I'm like, I have no idea what she could have got me. I was right. They all lied to me, and they got me what I've been asking for. I am now a proud owner of a new Nintendo Switch.
Let's go.
Did you have one before? Did you have an old one?
Never had one.
Sweet. What games? What games do you have?
They got me Mario Kart, and then I downloaded Lego Fortnite because it was free.
Oh, so you downloaded
Fortnite's free regardless.
Fortnite with the Lego version of it. Okay.
And then
apparently I've heard for some reason that Lego, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. I've heard that the Lego, this is weird, but I've heard from multiple places on Reddit, not connected to each other, people think the Lego Fortnite is very close to Valheim.
I don't know why.
That's weird, right? I've heard people multiple times in different places, different people equate it to Valheim, and I've never played it. I don't know anything about it. That's weird to me because I've never heard a game actually equated to Valheim. It's very unique. So that's cool. Have you played it?
No, I've been so busy. I set it up and got everything downloaded, and I put it on the charger, and then I had to come play episode 5. And then as soon as 5 was over, I'm like, I need a snack before the pirate. So like, yeah, it's
you didn't have time.
I want to play it.
My wife just got Wizards Unite. Not Wizards Unite. That was the app. That was the phone game. Hogwarts Legacy for the Switch.
I saw it on there.
Yeah. And so she's going to be trying that probably tonight, honestly, when she gets back.
I've never played or watched anything Harry Potter.
Oh, that game specifically. I don't know anything about it, and I'm excited to go into it blind.
There's so many features with the Switch that I didn't know about that, like, I was laying there, and it, like, part of the setup thing is, like, remove the controllers off of the thing. I'm like, okay, so you have to remove it, and it senses it removed. And it says, okay, now flip open the kickstand on the back of the screen. I'm like, there's a kickstand? So I literally laid in bed like this with a screen like this big with the kickstand on my belly, and my hands were in the air with the different joysticks, just setting everything up wirelessly. I'm like, I love this.
The Switch is great. The Switch is a fantastic console. Honestly, whatever they do with their next console, because there's always going to be a next console, no matter how perfect one is, I really hope that they don't go away from the gimmick of what the Switch is. The Switch is the fact that it's they combine their mobile and their console into one.
Exactly.
And
that's what sold me, is that you can go from playing handheld,
I love it,
to playing on the TV with a bunch of people.
I just hope that they just keep making like better versions of the Switch.
Yeah.
And they can call it something else different if they want to, as long as it has the same functionality. I'm going to buy it. I love it.
I'm definitely excited.
And they have great stuff. If you want to get into any Pokemon, if that's any interest to you at this point in your life, I would suggest Legends Arceus. Unless you really want the old formulaic, like the way that it used to play, which would be, I mean, I wouldn't suggest Sword and Shield, but maybe Scarlet or Violet. But if you want to get into like one of the most unique Pokemon experiences you'll have, Legends Arceus is really cool.
Okay, I'll look into it.
The only the quote newer ones that I played was the I think it was the Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu ones.
Those are you played that?
They were fun, but I beat them in a day.
They're easy.
Me and my buddy Josh, we sat down for like 4 hours and beat it.
They're very, very easy. They're fun. They're like fine. They're pretty much like the next. You know how they made red and blue, green, or whatever, red, blue, yellow, and then they made fire red and leaf green later on in the Game Boy Advance era. It's a totally different, like, the way that with the Pokemon appearing, like, walking around and you can see them before you encounter them and stuff, was like a whole new thing that they tried with that. However, what they did with that, it's essentially a modern remake. Again, there are now 2 remakes of Kanto, of the original Pokemon games. Like, did you really realize that when you were playing it, that this is just the same game again, but in a different way? Like, in a different
Eventually.
Kind of.
And I was just like, there's not really a battling system, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it was very different, but in that regard at least. But I thought that was cool. I could go on about Pokemon, but Legends Arceus is pretty cool. What other good Switch games? Zelda, of course. I would suggest if you've not,
I've never played Zelda before,
you don't have to.
So.
You don't have to have played
these
they all are.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've never played it, so it would be a new game to me.
Yeah. There is the new one out. What's it called?
Something Wind.
Not Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is the original for the Switch. It's absolutely phenomenal. Like, it is considered, it's one of the only, I think it's one of those games that is like one of the only games that have a 10 out of 10 on like the 3 major ratings platforms or something like that. It's a very good game. And the new one is apparently really good too, but apparently you would want to play the first before the second.
They say it's very good, but everybody that went up against my favorite game of the year got demolished in the Game Awards because Baldur's Gate 3 for life.
I can't wait to try that.
Such a good game.
I really want to play that.
Can you play that on the Switch?
What, Baldur's?
No.
It just came out to Xbox, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out. They shadow dropped it, I think, the night of the Game Awards, actually.
I wonder if it's coming to Switch. Andrew, did you download the God of War's DLC?
No, I need to. I have it in my library, so I gotta re-download the game.
I wanted to tell you, you texted me and said your present should be there on the 12th. And my immediate response was, God of War is releasing DLC on the 12th. Now, I don't know if you think I sent that to you because you brought up the 12th, but when you sent your message first, I had it, but I never actually opened it. And then when I saw the Game Awards and they announced it, I was like, I got to tell Andrew this. And when I went back later, I was like, what a coincidence that your message and my message were both about the 12th. So, all right. Are we ready for this embarrassing story?
Yes, sir.
Embarrassing story.
So I've literally worked the last 20 days in a row.
Well, stop.
And
how embarrassing.
Work texted me and was like, hey, can you work Saturday from 6 to 12? I was like, all right, sure. So I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. All right. Goodness. So I'm going to give you the time frame. I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning and woke back up at 4 o'clock to go back to work. So I slept for 3 hours.
You mean Friday night and then wait?
Saturday morning, I got home at 1 a.m. Saturday morning, and then woke up at 4 a.m. Saturday morning and went back to work
to go drive.
Wow.
Well, I was a yard jockey.
Oh, you were okay. I was gonna say that sounds dangerous, but
so keep in mind how close I went to sleep and woke up. All right, 3 hours. All right, because it's just 2 separate events that happened in 3 hours.
Oh no.
With my job, I take a load out to Ohio. It's about 250 miles one way. Swap the load with another driver, bring his load back, another 250 miles. Round trip, I'm doing like 520 miles every day.
Yeah.
On Fridays, the warehouse closes at 11:30. So if I don't get to the warehouse by 11, my load won't deliver until Sunday night, Monday morning. So I had just gotten on the road. I had McDonald's, and I'm like, I have to poop. And I was like, okay, I can't stop because if I stop, I'm not going to make it to the warehouse in time. So I held it the entire time.
Oh, no.
And I get to the warehouse, and I deliver the load. They close the gate.
Oh, you delivered a load.
No.
Oh, boy.
I delivered my workload. This is gonna work.
You really don't have to explain that. You don't have to designate a difference there.
Do it.
All right. So I parked the truck and I'm like, do I need to stop at a gas station or should I just go home? I was like, no, I can make it home. I'll turtle it. I'll get home. I'll be fine.
No.
Listen, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I just want to go home, get my 3 hours of sleep, and get back up. So I was like, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going home.
He pooped himself on his drive.
I get all the way home, back into the driveway, get everything out of the car.
Hey.
Hold up.
Walk through the mudroom.
Waddled through the new mudroom.
Walk into the kitchen room. Take my boots off. Throw everything out of my pockets except my phone. As soon as I walk through the archway of the kitchen into the dining room, immediately.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So I'm like penguin into the bathroom. As soon as I sit down, I'm done. I'm done. It's just it was like a faucet the whole way into the
Painting
bathroom.
painting the walls.
So, I just accept defeat, and I'm like, so I sit there, I use the bathroom, I take a one of them real quick.
2,000 years later.
You've just been waiting to use that, actually. He took a 2-second pause, and you're like, "This is my chance."
This is it.
So I don't want to use the word because it's a family podcast.
Well, good. Okay, don't use the word.
You can bleep it out. I took a whore's bath in the sink.
I mean,
I've never even heard of it.
You've never heard of that before?
That's fine. It's a term. I don't continue.
All right, so cleaned up, went to bed. All right. 4 o'clock shows up. I get dressed for work. I get out of bed, get everything ready to go to work, get my boots on, my jacket on, my wallet, my phone, walk through the kitchen, walk through the door into the mudroom, and as I'm opening the door to walk outside, I farted, but it wasn't a fart.
No.
Okay, you gotta get like multiple fart sound effects. I can't hear that same disgusting wet thing every time.
We're gonna have to get Nitro at this point or something to get more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so in a 3-hour period, I did it twice.
Did you sit in it or did you go back and change?
No, I went back inside.
That's good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
So it was a rough day yesterday.
You don't want to be the stinky boy at work, do you?
I felt defeated.
I bet you did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my week.
Oh, that's a nice week. Yeah.
With that, we can have a wonderfully freaking seamless transition into gaming. Wow! They are excited for... Oh, okay. I was yelling over it, and then it got quiet. Yeah, we're going right into gaming news this week. And we have 2 articles and then one just topic that we're going to talk about. And Josh is actually going to help a little bit with that topic because he's definitely been interested in it, in following it. So our first article of the week for gaming news has to do with Naughty Dog and The Last of Us game. Naughty Dog.
So they've made The Last of Us. Oh, and The Last of Us Part 2. Now, as of recently, I don't know as of how long, they've been working on a game called The Last of Us Online, or at least that's its working title. I don't know. They were trying to do an online version of their popular franchise, The Last of Us, as I'm sure you've heard of, as of this point, if not from the game, then the television show. And essentially these... Your eyes, Josh. The studio said that essentially they would have had to put all of their resources into post-launch content for years to come, and that approach would have severely impacted its ability to develop future single-player games. So, essentially, The Last of Us multiplayer game canceled. We'll focus on single-player games going forward.
One could say that was the last of their multiplayer. Yeah, pity laughs. Let's go.
Yeah, they laugh for you. So, yeah, that's I think it's a good call. Not everyone needs to have their own multiplayer universe with years of like live, what do they call it? Live service, like live service game where they're putting all their like attention into that. If you want to craft like story games, don't do it with online. I've heard great things about the Last of Us games. I've never played them. I just watched the first season with my wife. It was really fantastic as a show. I'm curious how the game is, and I would like to give it a try sometime. I'm glad that they made this decision. It's going to be good for them, I think.
I think so too. I love the fact that like everyone knows Naughty Dog from The Last of Us, and every time I hear of Naughty Dog Studios, my mind instantly transports me back to the early 2000s playing Crash Bandicoot, because those were the games they started with, and I am an old man. I hate it.
I remember those were great. I don't know. I don't know if they have like some old like, oh, it's an old game, you can play it on the Switch, how cool, or something, because they do that with some. But like with the Mega Man collection. I need to get the Mega Man Battle Network collection for the Switch.
Man.
That would make my life complete.
How many more of those do they have? They have so many Mega Man collections now.
Okay, so Mega Man did like Mega Man Battle Network 1 through 6. They did Mega Man 0. They did the original Mega Man and then whatever sequels the original Mega Man had. They did Mega Man like what else? Like Legends or something? They had like a ton of Mega Man games back in the day. And then they've done like collections to bring the old Mega Man games, which the Battle Network games are the ones I spent the most time playing.
Did they remake the one that when I say we would play, the one that I would watch you play at your house that was 3D for
very,
hours
very long ago? I would play this like 3D third-person Mega Man game where you like it was like not open world, but it was like like levels and you would go around and shoot your... I know which one you're talking about. I do not remember the name of that one off the top of my head.
I think it was like a PS1, wasn't it?
It was PS1 or PS2. I had both of them at different points in time. But I used to play that and Andrew would chill and I guess watch me for...
Great time.
Yeah,
it was my first version of Switch, man.
Yeah.
Andrew.
And... I was just going on about Mega Man. What's up, Josh?
2,000 years later.
Andrew, I got a mission for you, but I need your word.
Which word?
Your word. Like your primal word.
Roar? That's pretty primal.
If I server boost the Discord, we'll get like 20 more soundboard things. Would you add them?
I'll make sure I add non-copyrighted ones, sure.
Well, I'm not worried about the
also remove the non-copyrighted ones.
I already did. I just did it. So if I do it, will you add to the soundboard?
Sure.
Hey, let's go! Yeah, baby!
We have Discord stuff now, yeah. Oh, also, I didn't see anybody through last week's episode getting a chicken nugget, so we'll have to have an update on that.
We got 41 subscribers last week and this week. Nobody wanted a freaking nugget. That's
Not
crazy.
A single person.
Who doesn't want a nugget?
It's crazy.
Last week's episode is like our least viewed episode too. Maybe it was the Hitler thing.
Guys.
Yeah.
Nathan, did you take your autism test?
No.
I did.
Autism test.
I did.
I also took mine.
Would
we like to share our results?
Idea how I'm going to edit this. We're in the middle of gaming news.
It's the beauty of it. It's fantastic.
Autism news.
I haven't taken mine. So I guess we're going to find out if you guys are.
It's the RAADS-R scores. EmbraceAutism.com.
It's an online autism test where they give you questions that you answer, and it tries to be like, "Yo, dog, you got autism," or "Yo, dog, you got a little bit of autism," or "Yo, dog, you ain't got no autism." And so what it does is it's just, I don't think this is something like you probably get a different score if you actually went to a doctor, but it's probably like relatively accurate. So, Josh, what's the scoring chart?
Questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
The scoring chart: 25, you're not autistic. 50, some autistic traits, but likely not autistic. Parentheses, yet some autistic people score as low as 44.
I'll see you guys later. We don't.
65, the minimum score at which autism is considered. 90, stronger indications of autism, although non-autistic may score as high. 130, the mean score of autistic people, strong evidence of autism. 160, very strong evidence for autism. 227, that's a huge jump. I just want everybody to realize that.
That's the mega autist.
No, we're not there yet. The maximum score autistic people acquire in Ritvo's seminal paper on the RAADS-R. 240, the maximum possible RAADS-R score.
Yeah, well, with your ability that you just had there, I'm pretty sure you ended up scoring a 250, Chief.
I scored a 78.
78. So you have the traits. It's possible that you are, but also
autism.
I'm between 90 and 65, so I'm not autistic.
You could be. Some low score as low as 40. It said
Slightly.
You could be.
Slightly.
Yeah.
I'm probably
test.
probably at like 120. What was yours, Andrew?
I took the test and I got a 16. I have 0 showing of autism. So just to prove that I'm actually normal, I am not the crazy one on
You
here.
are anti-autistic.
I look at autistic people and I'm like, man, I'm glad I don't have that.
Okay. Okay, hold up. That's
Steven-
not what I meant.
Steven took the test.
No
And
surprise. with what
he
he got.
scored a 68.
Really?
Yep.
Not surprised at all. Steven is a great man, and I can definitely
So,
tell that there may be.
This is our friend Steven, who was on
sometimes.
an episode in the past.
He's
I love
in
you,
the
Steven.
same
Steven Thompson.
gray area.
He dropped his last name. It's Steven Thompson.
Yeah, Steven Thompson.
What's
yeah.
up? What's up? Josh?
Although the other Steven, the GameStop Steven,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
might have autism.
I
We'll see if he gives us permission to share his score later.
Guys, go to embrace-autism.com. Take the RAADS
Link in the description.
-R test, and in the comments, let us know what score you get.
If you want to find out how autistic I am, come back for next week's episode.
Yeah,
If he
we can do-
remembers.
I'll
I
remember.
have a feeling we might have such a good score that we might take most of the episode next week.
Yeah, I hope I pass.
I hope we all pass. Well, I mean, some
Into
of us
the
passed.
unknown.
Did I
I
pass or
passed
fail the
twice.
test? That's the question.
You heavily
know.
failed. The whole point is to be as
Okay.
autistic as possible, and you were like, I'm gonna suck at this.
Dang it, I got
Gaming-
another F. My daddy hates me.
Gaming news, Article 2. Valve is banning Dota 2 players in the funniest way possible. So,
Caribbean band chief.
we've talked about ban issues before in the past with, look how gray look at that, that's crazy. We've talked about like the goofy, funny little ways other companies like to ban their players who are cheating. So Valve, wait, did I say Valve? Yeah, Dota 2. So they're currently clamping down on the Dota 2 Smurf accounts in what it has called a bloodbath. As part of that and the recently released Frostivus 2023 update, Valve is sending a surprise gift to Dota 2 Smurf accounts, even those belonging to professional players of the company's hugely possible MOBA. What the unsuspecting recipients of the in-game gift, misleadingly described as a seasonal reward, fail to realize is it contains a highly toxic lump of coal that triggers a permanent ban. That's exactly what
Nice.
happened to Dota 2 pro and streamer Mason Vene, who was surprised to see his account banned after opening the gift from Valve in a clip now being widely shared online.
Beautiful.
The quote, "This might be the funniest thing I've ever seen relating to Dota. Well played, Valve."
I
love
watched Asmongold. On his stream, he had this piece of coal. I was talking about how, like, if you get the coal, you're banned, and he's like, that comes from a gift they give you. And
That's
then
pretty
I
funny.
guess there's this well-known streamer live on stream was like, "Oh, look at this gift I got." And he opens it, and all of a sudden, it's a lump of coal, and it goes, "You're banned till 1/8/24." And he's like, "What?" So it's pretty. It's like the opposite of that game creator that started going into comments trying to tell people how good their game was.
Yeah, so for those who don't know what smurfing is, because we do have mothers and autistic people who watch this podcast, smurfing is essentially when you go into an online game where, you know, there might be some sort of MMR, something that ranks you with other players of a similar skill level, and you start with a new account, so it doesn't really have any, like, you're really good at the game. You start with a new account, and you don't really have anything, like, this account doesn't have any stats. So you get lumped in with whomever, and some smurfs, like, well, like, there's like different, from my understanding of it, there's different ways to do it. Anybody can jump in if I'm not explaining it well, but you can also like essentially bomb your ranking as low as humanly possible and get super low. And then like join somebody who's in a low rank as well, and let's say you're a platinum or a diamond player in a game, and you go all the way down to like bronze and play with your friends who are in bronze, and you're going to absolutely destroy anybody you play against. Because all you had to do is like throw games on purpose, like lose games on purpose to get down to that point. I don't know. I feel like I've heard smurfing used in that context as well as simply using like a new account that has no statistics so that you can play with easier players and not like all the really good players so that you can gain rank really quickly and easily. But that is a very common tactic used in games, and people are starting to actually clamp down on it like Valve is here with DOTA. Very odd way to do it. What if somebody didn't just open that gift? I'm sure that they would eventually just ban them anyway, but I think it's pretty funny. They were going for style points.
It's a great way to let them know that the ban hammer is coming down, Chief.
We're watching. Indeed. So, other than that, not really Article 3, but more of a Topic 3. Josh, I want you to take this one.
Take it.
So, there's this game that was talked about 5 years ago, and it's called The Day Before. And they had a trailer, and they hyped a bunch of people up, and the way they described it was going to be this never before done, never before attempted, never before seen game. Open world, PvP, VE, all this stuff. And every time they put a release date, it would get pushed back. And then it would get pushed back, and get pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to release in October or November.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got pushed back again. And when it got pushed back again, they said, you know what? We're not actually going to release the full game. We're going to make it early access. And amongst all of this, they got sued because they had the same name as something else. And they went to court, and they had all of these people that were supporting them. Like, I think NVIDIA was backing them up. Steam already had their game on their website. And as soon as they got sued, everybody dropped them. So December rolls around. The 7th, the game drops as early access for $40. Hot garbage. In 4 days, they lost 90% of their player base. It was glitchy.
That is very impressive.
It was rough. I watched Dr. Disrespect play it for about 6 hours. It was rough. And we were kind of excited in the beginning to like maybe play it on the podcast, but we're not going to be able to play it on the podcast even if they wanted to, because the creators, Fntastic, but it's Fntastic, said that they are closing shop. But they're not really closing shop. They're running behind the corner of a building, changing their name of their studio, and then coming back out as a rebranded company that nobody's ever heard before.
Guy walks in with a fake mustache.
And I forget, they've already shown what they changed their name to. Somebody found it on something, and it's like, I don't know. I don't remember the night. I think it's 8 something studios or something like that. So they're just going to keep making trash games and then run and hide, change their company name, come out as a different company.
That's why you can't pre-order anymore.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. Not worth it. Yeah, I'd never really heard much about this game, to be honest. I hadn't ever really followed it much, so I learned a little bit from you there. But I am glad to hear that we dodged that bullet at least.
Yeah.
Sidebar that is still related to the podcast. Did anyone see? So first of all, since we're technically recording like a week before it's posted, did anyone else here watch the Game Awards at all this past week?
Yes.
Okay, so did anyone, when I watched it happen, because this would have been near the end of the award show when they did the musical orchestral score, did anybody else notice the epic flute guy? You know who I'm talking about. Okay, did you watch whenever they were playing all the like live video game music?
Yes.
So there was that black guy on the end with the sunglasses who was playing. He swapped instruments like 5 times. And I
No.
watched it, and this dude was just jamming, getting it. And I was like, this dude's going to be a meme. There's no doubt about it. He just on the fly starts switching instruments every time they switch video game music. And he's in it, man. Like, he's all about it.
I didn't see I didn't see him doing it. Are you talking about the part like where they played a bunch of music for like all is like one song but from different games that like just flowed into each other?
Exactly. So I saw that and I was like, this guy's going to be a meme. The next day, this man created a TikTok, went viral, and like his TikTok is explaining all the different instruments and stuff that he played all at once. And I was like, I love this. I love this part about the culture that we live in, that this dude is just living his best life at the Game Awards, just breaking it down like a mad homie. And he's like, I'm getting famous off this because I am amazing at what I do, and I'm just in it to win it, man. I love it so much. You gotta look him up. I'll have to find his TikTok and show you, but it's great.
My favorite part from that was the backlash that the voice of Kratos got for trash talking.
Dude, that was so savage. So yeah, quick other sidebar. Since last year, the voice actor for Kratos, Christopher Judge, he had an acceptance speech. He went a little long. I think his whole speech was like 8 minutes. Yeah.
He set a record.
So they were like, every person that came up to accept an award, they gave them a 1-minute timer, and they would tell them like 30. They'd give them a 30-second warning, like a 10-second warning, a 5-second warning, and they'd be like, off the stage, go, go, go. So it was like it was intense. So like he mentioned that while he was accepting his award, and then he was like, by the way, my acceptance speech last year was longer than Call of Duty's newest campaign, and then he bounced. I was like, bro, Christopher Judge, you are the man. You are the man. Absolutely love it. Him and Epic Flute Guy need to make a collab in their next game. Be awesome.
I'm still on the Kestrels bit. Like, did they have bird handlers there?
Well, first of all, if you listened, I said orchestral. So
okay. I didn't know that they made them too.
Indeed, they make a lot of woodwind and brass instruments. My guy,
orchestrals. Freaky.
Yes, and if you're real freaky, it's the orchestrals, and they're playing Under the Sea. If you know what I mean.
Or cuckestrals.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Well, that was my ADHD corner moment. So back to what we were doing. We are done with gaming news.
Guess what we were doing? We were talking about Alan Wake. I think that's how the creators pronounce it. Okay, this week it's super loud. This week we played episode 5 of Alan Wake, of which there are 6 episodes. Oof, we're almost there. We're almost at the end. Uh-oh. I'm getting into the episode 5 recap here. However, do any of my lovely homies here want to talk about anything first? Bring up anything else?
Overall view of this chapter, better than most, in my opinion. But yeah. Story-wise, I feel like we got a lot, but a little at the same time.
I get that.
It was weird.
I think the game changed a lot in my mind after episode 4. I think 4 and 5 are my favorites so far. I'm curious how it's going to end, but I'm going to have an idea where the story is going at the end of this. But it's pretty interesting way that they've...
I just want to tell you that my idea that I told you like an episode or 2 ago literally is coming to fruition.
What was that?
That he was going to have to go down to the bottom of the lake and find like some like whatever them people that put the costume on and go underwater. I'm blanking on the name. Scuba diver, the outfit that they wear. I told you a couple episodes ago, like he was going to have to find one, go to the bottom of the lake and all this. Mm-hmm. And now he found the clicker, clacker, clappy hand thingy-majigger. And he's like, I can get to the bottom of the lake. So
I can do it now.
I love how he finds a clicker and he's like, yes, this will take me to the bottom of the lake.
This is all I needed.
This is definitely aquatic gear, not a button.
I love how surprised he is. Like, he's living a story that he partially wrote, and then he finds this, like, the wires are cut off of it, and he's like, how did he know? This is the key to, and like, this whole thing's make believe, dude. Like, you could expect anything.
I'm not
like,
I'm not one to back Alan Wake in this video game, but in his defense, this is still happening real time because he retroactively wrote this.
Yep.
So he's looking at it like, dude, either I'm a freaking genius or I'm absolutely nuts because I wrote this to happen, but I still don't know it's happening.
Can I bring something up real quick?
Sure, and then we'll get into the recap.
First of all, what perfect timing that Barry is wearing Christmas lights.
Yes, that was cute. And the fact that we're playing near that time.
I love that so much.
Did anybody think how he found Christmas lights at a random general store and is powering them?
I didn't want to question that because my brain would break.
Me too.
Okay. All right, let's get into the recap then.
I think there's a potato in his sphincter.
What's the battery life of a potato?
Can't be long.
It was the logical question.
Nightlife in Bright Falls. So the game starts off with Alan Wake. He wakes up. Alan wakes up to find himself in jail, and he sees a vision of Cynthia Weaver in his cell. She says something about guarding something. Alan finally recovers to see Barry also just waking up. While in the middle of conversation with Barry, he overhears Agent Nightingale and Sarah Breaker talking. Breaker and Nightingale then enter the cell area from outside. Sarah asks to see his supervisor, but he brushes off the request and focuses on Wake. Feeling proud for catching him, Nightingale says he has all the evidence he needs. Wake breaks down in a seizure, and Sheriff Breaker checks on him. Believing that it's just a ploy to get out of the cell and escape, Nightingale pulls a gun on Sarah when she tries to leave. Sarah Breaker is the sheriff, by the way, for those who don't know or remember. Oh, it did just say Sheriff Breaker. Having a strange sense of deja vu, he pulls a manuscript page out, but is then sucked up by the darkness. Alan says to get the lights on in the half-darkened sheriff's station. Sarah checks the fuse box to get the lights on. Sarah then says that she has his stuff in her office, so Alan and Sarah get ready and they stock up for the fight ahead. Alan then says yes to see Cynthia Weaver, and Sarah responds that she lives in the old Bright Falls power plant, and that they need to get the chopper to get there. Interject at absolutely any point.
Cool. So this was my first time in this episode of... So I do understand 'tis a video game, and 'tis based on a fictional series of a fictional writer writing about his own fictional story. So I do understand I have to suspend some disbelief here. But the fact to me that one, an FBI agent just decides he's pulling up to the sheriff's station and he's going to shoot a prisoner didn't sit well. And I was like, okay, cool. She wasn't okay with that. The sheriff was like, dog, you tripping. And so that I was like, okay, at least that, cool. I get that. But the moment that she looks at him and she's like, hey, I need to know how to fight these things. So, okay, I get it. She's accepting the fact that gotta do some things off the book, But the moment that she walks into her office and is like, hey, Alan Wake, here's a gun and a flashlight in the middle of the police station, I still disagree with that. I don't think someone that you have in the clink for being clinically insane should be given a gun.
I thought that was wild, too, that she was like, I'm going to let you out of jail. Here's your gun. I didn't.
Fact-checking, no. We're just diving right in. All right, this crazy guy, he's the leader of this pack, and we're going to continue from here.
In her defense, they were getting attacked by literal nightmares. However, I don't really know what you would do in that situation. Of course you don't want to give this crazy guy a gun. But at the same time, he's like the only one who's been like fighting these guys up to this point, and he knows enough about it. But could you not just take him along for the ride and he could tell you what to do? So I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was.
She could do it herself. Come on. I let her at first when I played. I was like, okay, I'm not going to shoot any of these guys. I'm just going to shine my flashlight on them.
She was kind of legit.
She was not bad.
Like, wow, She earned her rank as sheriff for sure. She's hitting shots. It's
She was.
in, bro.
Yeah, I was down with it. So, yeah, feel free to interject at any time because I'm going to plow right through this. So, they need to get the chopper to the Old Bright Falls flower plant.
Easy chopper.
They meet Barry in the lobby, and Sarah asks him to stay there and call a whole list of people, which includes Frank Breaker, Sarah's father, and Pat Main. With the entrance blocked, Sarah and Alan head through the cells and out the back. I do want to say I sat there and I listened to every single one of Barry's phone calls.
Nice.
Before we left. And it gets to the point where he's on like a loop with an old lady who will not let him talk. And he keeps saying, but ma'am, no, I need to tell you.
Yeah, that was cool.
So you listened to all of it too?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets to the point where he's like, Al, this is going to take a while. You might want to get moving. And then it kind of like goes in like a loop, which was a smart way to go about it. But I was like, come on, give me an achievement. I want to listen to this whole thing and get an achievement. And it didn't happen. But yeah. And
which also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to continue to recap.
Apologize.
Go ahead.
Filthy animal.
You going to say something?
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead. I'll bring it up later because it'll be brought up again. It's fine.
All right, so the entrance is blocked, so they end up... Sarah and Alan head through the cells and out the back. With the gate fried, Alan goes around on the rooftops of the adjacent buildings. There he encounters flocks of ravens, which you had to shine your light on. They're annoying. Alan gets off the scaffolding and down to the street level. He asks Sarah about her password, Night Springs. She says it's because the town gets weird. Alan fixes the gate controls, and Sarah joins Alan. Alan and Sarah have to fight through the town to get to the chopper keys from the town hall. They reach Main Street to find it crawling with Taken. The Deerfest float drives through the middle of the fight. Now, with ambushes waiting around every corner, they stay on their toes. They get past the Oh Dear Diner and arrive at a gate that leads to the yard right beside the town hall. The Taken are now in full force and ambush with an assault chainsaw. Sarah forgets the gate and helps Alan. Sarah gets the gate open, and they get into the town hall. Sarah fixes the fuse box while Alan works on finding the keys. In the lobby, Alan is ambushed, but he holds it back. He finds the keys, and just as he leaves the room, he notices Sarah outside. He looks as Barry comes running down the street in a panic. Cars start being taken and chase him down the street. Then suddenly, a pickup truck is then thrown at him, before he enters the Bright Falls General Store. The darkness blocks a direct path to the general store, so Sarah and Alan take an alternate route. But they're attacked by Taken along the way. That's like the whole game. They arrive on a street near the Bright Falls bookstore and are interrupted by Dr. Nelson, who's mad about all the shooting. This was so funny to me. This crap goes down on the night before Deerfest, so the whole town thinks the shooting is normal. We're going around and shooting nightmares. It's the middle of the night, and the town's like, I hate Deerfest!
I take it nobody who's complaining about the shooting while looking out the windows saw the giant carnival ride driving by itself down the street?
Well, I did some further research into this game, and it actually turns out the average IQ in this town is 65, so I would just go
same
with
as
it.
the average age.
And the average autism score that Josh and company got, apparently.
Well, 65 is good. That means they're just not really that...
Autistic.
Oh my gosh, back to the autism. Okay.
They have the slightism.
I have autistic friends. We can talk about them. So after Dr. Nelson yells at him about the shooting, I hate Deerfest, Sarah tells him it's nothing and he should go back to bed. They make it behind the bookstore next to the back of the general store. Alan, asking where Barry is, gets a quick answer because a flare goes off in the church parking lot. They race over there. Sarah tries to unlock the door while being ambushed by Taken. They fight through the waves of Taken and manage to get into the church. Alan asks about the lit candles. She says it's tradition to do this. They make their way through the basement and to the final door when an assault is just about to strike when a flare destroys him. I guess assault is capitalized. It's like an assault Taken. Real big, scary good.
Yeah.
It's Barry!
Was so happy.
Barry!
I was so happy at that. Barry finally got his time to be
Barry's
that action Rambo hero he wanted to be.
Barry's a hero.
And he is. He's great.
Yeah, he absolutely takes down that assault who, right when you open the door, dude's like, and then Barry just ruins him. So now that they're reunited, they have to make their way to the chopper, which is at the fire station up the hill. They battle an assault chainsaw and some weaker Taken. They get to the chopper, and Sarah says that she can start it. Barry jumps in too, leaving Wake to defend the chopper from the incoming horde. This is like a lot. Like you deal with you have a lot of dudes that fight here, but they give you so many weapons.
You went from mystery thriller to like straight up action.
Yeah, it was like constant like waves of them, and then you have to get on the chopper while they're still coming and stuff. It was kind of wild. So a tornado forms on the hill above, and it's carrying steel rods. Wake battles the Taken and just barely makes it to the chopper. They lift off, and then they head to the power plant.
Which, interjection, that was probably not only my favorite, that was probably my favorite part of the game so far.
It was pretty cool.
Although I will admit, it was also
concert.
For me the easiest part of the game.
It was not hard. I didn't have a hard time. I expected to. I kept the lights on.
There was so much ammo. Yeah, it was like I could just throw flares out and things would die, and I'm just basically waiting for the game to catch up.
Yeah, it was not that bad. I expected it to be worse. So I think the rock concert might have been
probably
that was pretty great. That was pretty great. Yeah. So they're in the chopper, and Sarah talks about how her dad used to work in New York and that she used to tease him that he was Alex Casey. Alan is surprised by this. Sarah then comments that he was a little heavy on the metaphors. Just as they're about to land, a flock of ravens appears and attacks the chopper, not the birds. Alan falls out and lands in a parking lot. So a flock of these dark, evil ravens, like, knock the helicopter around and knock Alan out. I swear this whole game is just Alan getting knocked out of vehicles and not having stuff anymore and having to...
Listen, I don't want to... Something made me so mad about that.
Alan falls out and lands in a parking lot near the small warehouse. Sarah says that the flocks are messing around and that they should land somewhere else. Alan, all alone, enters the warehouse and battles some Taken. Then he comes upon a transformer field and sees the power plant across the water. He goes through the yard, battling Taken in close quarters combat. He reaches the other side of the field to come across a bridge. He enters the control building to turn on the bridge, then gets on, waiting for it to spin to the other side while he gets attacked by ravens. That was interesting. He reaches the other side and follows a trail toward the plant. The chopper comes around, and Sarah says on a PA that she will give him support. So Alan goes down the path with the helicopter shining its spotlight down in areas where the Taken are making... Okay, that was a typo. Where the Taken are, taking down them as easy as pie. The chopper gets attacked again and disappears again. Alan's alone again. Alan fights past the rest of the Taken and reaches the entrance. He sees signs that are on the truck stating, Bright Falls Light and Power. When he gets to the door, it opens. Light pours out from the searchlights and blinds Wake. Alan tells Cynthia that he has come to help. She doesn't believe him and asks for proof. He tells her that she is the Lady of the Light, like in the song. She lets him in, telling him she has been waiting for a long time for him. She also tells him that the transformer yard is sucking in too much power. She tells him to turn it off. Alex exits. Alan exits. I'm dying. And heads toward the shut-off area on the way battling Taken. He then reaches a platform puzzle where he quickly solves it. He reaches the shut-off area and shuts off the power. The transformer yard goes silent and dark. He turns around and heads back toward the entrance where he battles more Taken. Of course, he reaches the entrance and is let in. Cynthia then tells him to follow her to the entrance to a drain pipe on the way, telling Alan that she liked Tom and was jealous of Barbara. They enter the pipe and head for the well-lit room in the dam. So at this point, you've met Cynthia, the Lady of the Light. And she is the one who's been leaving all those caches for you everywhere throughout the game. She's the one who has been the Lady of the Light. And she is, I guess she has this place called the Well-Lit Room set up. I died. I'm sorry. I saw Josh. And, so yeah, I mean, do you guys want to expound upon any of that before I continue to the last part here?
No, we'll just get to the end and then we'll read
I want to expound on it. Shut up. I did think it was kind of cool though that they tied in the fact that you have the optional kind of hidden things you can find to help you out through the story, but they actually tied it into the game. That was just a neat touch.
I agree.
Normally it's just like, hey, check out the random box here. Yeah.
Cool. And to be fair, like the whole game, there were like these arrows pointed. The fluorescent paint that only shines when you shine light on it. So to actually find these caches, they always had that, and then like a symbol over the cache. I guess it's the symbol of the Lady of the Light. So she's been waiting for Alan this whole time. I guess. Yeah, she's been super busy, dude. All right, so last little paragraph here about the end of this episode. So as Cynthia and Alan walk through the pipe, he gets a phone call from Barry, and then while talking, the phone call ends and the pipe shakes. Ooh, the chopper crashed.
That's a lie. Whatever you're reading is a lie.
Is it?
He didn't get a phone call. He made the phone call
Did he?
to tell Barry to meet him. And then Barry started talking. And then he's like, oh, and then it crashed. The pipe shakes. And then he's like, I gotta save my friends.
Yeah.
And the lady of the light's like, you're stupid. You shouldn't do that. Forget about
Go
that.
ahead. She's like, I'm staying here where it's safe.
Yeah, that's what it says here. I like the way you said it, though. That was better. So he ends up going to get to the chopper that crashed, and Alan is battling flocks and flocks of ravens. So he reaches the crash site, and it's empty, so they're not there. Great. And he wanders away and sees a flare go off, so he rushes towards it. And here's Barry asking for Alan and gunshots. He reaches them just as a horde of Taken are about to close in on them. He helps Sarah and Barry and tells them that they need to go to the well-lit room in the dam.
I'm just waving by because they're doing the thing. And
No, yeah.
Oh.
that was such a fishing thing there. She's like, you gotta hold the button. I'm like, I already know I'm gonna have to find another way.
That was immediate. Like, immediate, I was like, come on, you're gonna make, because not another way. Like, we all know what's happening here.
Oh, I see Ninja.
But in the game's
Not
defense,
Ninja.
isn't that exactly what should have happened? Because he's writing a horror story.
Okay.
You gotta have those cliches in there.
You know what? Any bit of bad writing in this game, we don't blame on the writers of the game, we blame on Alan Wake.
That's it. Exactly.
That's why they wrote this in the first
cracked
place.
the code.
This
They've
is
cracked the
incredible. I can't even believe how amazing this is. Oh, that was disturbing.
It was quite interesting.
So you have to find your way.
Find your way.
Yes.
You gotta fight them spools of cable.
So you call you guys basically make it up to an elevator, and you battle Taken along the way. Blah blah blah. Alan calls the elevator, and while waiting for it, more Taken attack. No way, crazy! They get in and they get to the top where they need to go up one more elevator to get to the top of the dam. Sarah says Alan needs to hold on to the bottom so they can get in and open it for Alan. But when he reaches the door, tanks collapse and block the door. So Alan must race to the top on his own. He gets to the top to find a military-grade searchlight ready. A wave of Taken come after him. He uses a searchlight and destroys them. Suddenly, a tornado forms and chases Wake across the dam. He goes on under platforms to run, but the tornado flings things at Alan, making it difficult to pass. So sometime going from on top of the dam to these platforms, Alan finally reaches the elevator that Barry and Sarah are cheering Alan to hurry. He finally makes it to the elevator, and they go down several levels. While going down, Sarah says the military occupied the dam for a while and built a safe room, which is where the Cynthia built the well-lit room. They finally reach that level and enter the safe room. In awe and amazement, they take a few moments to enjoy the lights. And then the safe is closed. So we get to actually find out what happens at the end of the story with the well-lit room and such, and how it is so well lit.
And that's where he found the clicker again.
Yep, he finds the clicker. Someone want to explain that part?
I love the fact that
No.
that the game commented on how long the elevator was taking, and then they got in the elevator, and Barry's like, seriously, this elevator could go faster now that we're in it. And I was like, this is
blame Alan.
And it did.
That was hilarious.
Because
like very funny.
He clicks it and he's like, this thing takes forever, and you fight like 3 or 4 hordes, and then you get in and it's like 2 seconds, and I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, that was Alan Wake episode 5. Pretty wild episode in general.
All right, so let's break it down. First time in the game where you actually get some of your weapons back.
Yup. Crazy, right?
You start off with the sheriff, and boom, you got some of your weapons. All right, cool. I got one of the. So you know how you got the little ninja Takens for the they take half a.
They're super annoying.
Flashlight to go down, and
but
then
they're fast, and they do like bam, bam, bam with their dagger.
No, not the super ones. The ones that like throw stuff at you. Just the normal basic
throwers.
Yeah. Well, then you got the like really tough guys that take like an entire flashlight.
Those are annoying.
It's like 5 shots. So
I hate that they charge at you. The charging is so frustrating.
Yes.
Because you have to be ready for it, because the flashlight. I've gotten really good, like a really good rhythm at this point, where I just kind of like flash the flashlight on for a second to stop the axe throwers from throwing, stop like half the guys from doing things. You just flash it for a second while you're trying to like stop them and like keep the light on someone else and everything. But whenever he's charging, he will not stop for anything.
Nope, he don't care.
Yes.
So
I accidentally trying to dodge one of the dudes throwing, got him to throw an axe at the back of the head of the tough dude.
Did it hit him? It hurt him?
It hit him. Because I didn't shoot him. The axe hit him, and then he only took one shot to kill.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that could happen.
So, I didn't either.
So this week on episode 5, did anyone else die from fall damage again? No? Just me?
I don't think I did this time.
I certainly
You do that a lot.
That's my life, yeah.
Can I guess where you died from fall damage?
You can tell me, because I'm almost guaranteeing you know.
The roof of the building when you first come out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That'd be it.
I almost fell off, and then I was like, wow, this is kind of rickety. I'm like, guarantee you someone's dying from this.
Yep. I did. I saw it collapsing, and I was like, I can make this jump, and I jump, and then it just falls while I'm there. I'm like, oh, there. Bye. See you later.
Funny.
Oh, well, I died, but I wouldn't. I'll get into it. It's not from fall damage, but I guess technically in the game it is. But in like real life, it wouldn't be. But anyways, you fall out of the helicopter.
Josh is like, I could take this damage.
Well, it's not fall damage; it's drowning. But we'll get into it.
Oh, the ocean.
So I don't know what you would consider
lake
it.
or
Does
whatever.
the game considering it like you're just dying, or is it fall damage?
Hazard. But I don't know.
You have your weapons. You get into the freaking helicopter, and all of a sudden you fall out of the helicopter, and you lose everything.
It's great, isn't it?
I knew you were going to be so upset by
I
that.
was so mad by that.
I love it.
So when you gotta go hit the switch on the docks, and you gotta do like the puzzle to get all the ramps to open, and then you walk. Had no idea that they were retracting. So as soon as you hit the switch, I started walking, and all of a sudden the first one's pulling apart. I'm like, oh crap, and I managed to jump to the other side. I'm like, okay, all right. So I get on the number 2. And I'm waiting, and I thought I timed it right, but it started retracting way quicker than I thought, and I didn't make it, and I
Nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like technically, like you would have died from drowning, but I don't know if the game considers it fall damage. But finally got through there. Then you have to follow the old lady, and she's like, "I built this room. We were touched by the darkness."
She was creepy.
And she's cranking that handle, and all I could think is, I want to move her out of the way and turn it faster. Because all you see the doors going.
Meanwhile, you switch over to my gameplay feed, and I'm just like running, waiting for the door to open. I'm like, come on, lady, let's go. We're on time, Grinch.
Oh, man.
When the helicopter crashed, and he's like, I need to save them. I thought the episode 5, maybe it's because like I wanted to do other stuff and I just wanted to be done with episode 5. I felt like episode 5 took longer than normal, and when he was like, I want to save Barry, I was like, I don't want to save him. I just want to get to the end of this episode.
Dang.
I want to get to the end of your episode with that one. Barry's the man.
Oh no, I have some feelings towards him. He's autistic. He's yeah.
Oh, he might be.
He's got to be that. He's got to be autistic to be as good at his job.
Did anybody notice that episode 5 Barry did not have the cutout?
I was curious as to why he didn't, and I'm a little bit worried that maybe he misplaced the cutout.
Well, he got arrested. He had the cutout at the house with him, and then they got arrested at the house.
They did.
So maybe it's either at the house or it was confiscated at the police station.
Well, it's
Mark
at least
my
safe.
words, it's going to be back after the end of episode 6. If everything's all hunky-dory at the end, Barry's going to be like, yeah, and I saved your buddy, Al. And then, they're going to ha, and that's roll credits.
Yeah, no, that's without a doubt. If it happens exactly the way you did, I'm going to buy you a chicken nugget.
Or a plot twist. The cardboard cutout is who's actually writing the story. Crackpot theory. There's 2 Alan Wakes. One's a cardboard cutout come to life.
Did anybody feel like there was way more thermoses in episode 5 than any other?
I feel like there's been a pretty consistent amount, but I have not really been paying paying that much attention. I didn't notice any difference.
I don't know. Episode 5,
I felt like there were very few manuscripts in episode 5.
There were a lot less.
Isn't it when you come out of the jail cell, there's 2 immediately?
It was, and then there was very few. I don't know.
Well, that's all I got for episode 5. It was pretty decent. Like I said, I wanted to rush through it because we celebrated Christmas and I had other things I wanted to do. But
I get you.
It wasn't a bad episode.
I think that's how I was for episode 3, I think. I just wasn't a fan, and I was just like, let me just complete this.
It's still not my favorite gameplay, but I'm enjoying the game more than I was in the first few episodes. I didn't dislike the game before, but I'm liking it more.
I agree.
I'm in the same boat. I'm not a big fan of the gameplay, but I'm enjoying the story.
Which really makes me wonder, because I don't know, I'd have to look it up if this was nominated for Game of the Year when it came out, because Alan Wake 2 was nominated for Game of the Year, and that came out like 2 weeks before the Game Awards ceremony. Like, it wasn't far. So I was really surprised that it even was nominated.
There's been good reviews.
So I'm assuming that must be pretty good, yeah.
I wonder... I mean, I feel like there's no way I don't eventually play it now that I've played the first one, but I'm not going to drop $60 on it right now.
Yeah, me neither.
That's how I am. Like, I'm gonna wait for a deal on Steam or something.
Most of the time. Unless it's something I've been waiting to play for a long.
Talos Principle 2. I'm gonna get here soon. I'm just gonna get it, but it's also not a 60. It's like 30, so that's much more reasonable. Josh, you look like a demon.
Had 2 wins and 10 nominations.
I love your beautiful blue eyes.
I know this is the game review portion, but can we talk about how we had so many good games this year that Spider-Man 2 was nominated for 7 categories and didn't win a single one?
Wow.
And that game was
never
really
played a Spider-Man game since PlayStation 2.
I don't know if I've ever played any of them.
Well, they're PlayStation exclusive. The first one and we'll call it 1.5, Miles Morales, they're out on PC now, but dude, those games were so good, and the fact that it didn't even win a category just blew my mind.
It was a good year in gaming, for sure.
Indeed, for sure. But yeah, I feel the same way about Alan Wake. It's a decent game. I'm liking that they picked up the gameplay a little bit, and while they didn't have to do anything to improve it, they just kind of made it more. I guess I needed something else to control my attention because it was just too boring, just kind of walking around finding thermoses with nothing seemingly on the line.
My hands.
And now that I have to save Barry's life, I'm like, yeah, I'm in it to win it, bro. Barry with his little what did he call it? His little headlamp. They called it something in the game. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, the Eye of Mordor.
The Eye of
that's what it was. Eye of Mordor.
And then he got
great.
very
Did he say wasn't it the Eye of Sauron, or did he say Mordor?
I thought he said Mordor.
He might have.
I could be wrong. But then he was
that
like
was
very embarrassed that he said it.
It was hilarious. Yeah. He's like I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for saying
Barry's great.
Baby, I love you.
At least Alan was smart enough to question why Barry had Christmas lights on him. He's like, "Why are you doing this?" He's like, "Protection, bro."
Well, and then
that was
like,
the best thing
love
ever.
So-and-so hardware store, general store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love the Christmas lights.
Oh, yes.
How
before
are you powering them?
Before I forget, yes, that's a very valid question. But before I forget, best taken line so far in the game.
I know what you're going to say.
One.
I know what you're going to say.
Omega-3 fatty acids.
No, that's not.
Oh, bro, it was so great.
No.
It was like
Josh,
omega-3
what was
fatty
yours?
acids are good for the heart.
I think it's the one where you're standing trying to get in the church, and she's like, "I'm gonna say something to the pastor about this stupid lock," and then it turns to like where you watch the Taken climbing on things, and the dude gets on the bus, and he says something like, "It's time for hard work, but we're not working anymore," or something like that. I'm like, okay.
They just the things that I don't know how they came up with it.
They had
I
fun
want to
with
know.
that.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't pay attention to them talking in the beginning, but like
I didn't either.
Like an episode or two ago, I heard one of them say something like outlandish, and like now I realize
From the
That
beginning,
was-
yeah.
That was my favorite part from the beginning. of like the little things they've done in the game was just the random thing. I'm pretty sure I brought it up in like episode 1 or 2 as well, that just they say the most outlandish things about like their jobs.
Yep.
And that's all. That's what their scary text is. They're just like, yeah. And it's not like a butcher where you could be like, yeah, I have to take off the sides of beef. Be afraid of me because I'm strong.
Andrew,
It's just like, yeah.
I just Googled best Alan Wake 1 best taking quotes, and the first one that comes up,
Omega-3 fatty
acids are good for your heart.
That's amazing.
Yeah. As it should be. That was my favorite.
I never touch mayonnaise.
Yeah, like what the it's never something that's like meaning to be scary, which is great. And they're just putting it in a horror game. They're like, my phone died 6 days ago and I lost my charger. Like
the graveyard shift may cause cancer.
Yeah, it's insane. That might be the reason I
Fantastic.
play Alan Wake too, just to see what more they came up with.
Yeah,
All
I'll definitely get it one day. But
So we're at the end of this episode. I know we have episode 6, but I want to talk about this real quick. Episode 6, I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if you guys beat it yet. Do we plan on doing the rating the same episode as episode 6?
I think
so. About that, yes, about that. I did look up at one point during episode 3 because I was super frustrated with the game, and I was like, how many more hours do I have to dedicate to this garbage? But episode 6 isn't the longest episode. It's like in the middle time-wise of like how much we've played so far. So we could definitely do both if we wanted to.
That's fair.
Oh, I've already got my notes set up for the rating and stuff, but
okay.
If we do the rating, what are we thinking next week for doing the podcast? Are we doing it Christmas Eve, or are we wanting to do it Saturday?
We'll talk about that after. We'll figure that out. Yeah. Are you getting the screenshot, or is it only on my end?
Screenshot?
Josh is 100% frozen.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I got it.
That's a good one. How did you not notice?
I was looking at you when I was talking.
So
now everybody's frozen.
We'll talk about that separately. We don't need to do that while we're recording.
No.
Beautiful. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, there we go. I'm here.
You're so beautiful.
It just took me.
You are beautiful.
Okay. So before I forget, I was waiting to the end of this to share this, and I'm super pumped about it. So there was.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
In the beginning of the game, I think it was episode 2 where they mentioned Sarah's name as Sarah Breaker. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's an interesting, maybe it's a funny little tie-in because this game came out before this other one that I'm going to reference. I was like, that's kind of cool. Maybe, it was just the developers are in the same company and they just wanted to kind of connect their worlds, just being funny. But apparently, so Sheriff Sarah Breaker, she mentions her father twice. Once in episode 3, I believe, and then once in this episode. And that's one of the people that Barry asked to call. So whenever you go into her office, the sheriff's office, I think it's this time, because I can't remember if it was this time I saw it or if it was the first time you enter her office. I think it was this time. But on the top, you have to kind of maneuver the camera around a little bit. But, whenever I go into a new area at the beginning of one of these episodes, I'm searching every corner for a thermos or something. So I'm just doing wacky stuff. And so I came across, there was a file, a manila folder on top of one of these case, what are the file cabinets? That's it. On the top of the file cabinets. And it had Frank Breaker's name on it, which is her father. And I was like, oh. So they're mentioning this more than once. So this is interesting. And then Barry calls him, and I was like, oh, okay. So they have to be related. So whenever you hear, I think it was when Barry's talking to, oh, no. It was it was one of the files. So the Frank, they mentioned Frank Breaker, and Frank Breaker is referenced in another game as well that I found out was developed by the same game company. And in that game, Frank Breaker is he's still in that world considered Sarah Breaker's dad, and he is the head of what's called the FBC, which is the Federal Bureau of Control. And that's the name of the game, is Control. And it's the whole game is about finding these paranormal events. And without spoiling anything, it's supposed to apparently be a semi-successor, just like a alternate path of what could have happened here, I guess.
Okay.
Which was interesting, and I didn't want to say anything about it because they reference, and I'll say it now because we're going to play episode 6 and find out if it's true or not. But in Control, they reference Frank Breaker talking about an incident in the state of Washington where something got flooded. Now, we're about to go down into the middle of this lake, so I'm wondering if they're going to kind of pull it together, if that makes sense,
Interesting.
because
Okay.
they mentioned this whole game of what's going on specifically. As a matter of fact, I tried to pull up an article. Yeah, so a letter found in the Bright Falls Sheriff Station is addressed to Frank Breaker from William Kirkland, and it's dated September 6, 2010, which in the game Control, that's 4 days before that Frank, the Sheriff Frank, notifies the Federal Bureau about the Bright Falls, Washington incident. And that's kind of all that they leave it at, is that it's, something, it could have been potentially flooded. They kind of reference to it, but the whole thing is they reference Bright Falls as I can't remember what the term is in the game, but they have a term for like supernatural events, if that makes sense. So they reference this game in Control, which is a newer game, and it's probably pretty cheap now because it came out a few years ago. But I thought it was really cool that they intertwined those worlds, and I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen in episode 6, if they're going to get to the bottom of the lake somehow and maybe things get flooded and that's the whole event that they're referencing. But I thought it was pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited to see if that's what happens.
I hope
2,000 years later.
I appreciated your addition, but that was a perfect soundbite. So I enjoy that, just the Easter egg there. I really do hope that there is some connection. I'm excited to find out too now.
We need an experiment right now. On 3, everybody needs to say Frank Baker or Baker, whatever his name is, 5 times fast. 3, 2, 1, go.
Frank Breaker, Frank Breaker, Frank Breaker, Frank Breaker, Frank Breaker. I started saying Branker.
You said Branker at one point, yeah.
Dang it.
Like that.
Okay. All right, so it's time for the fantasy draft.
Why do you have to fart? We didn't. We just need
no.
to hear
All right, so I have the fantasy draft, and since you guys always forget the order, since it's my draft, next is Andrew goes first. Nathan.
That's
me.
Nathan. That's me.
That makes sense.
Okay, well, my screen, this is Andrew. So, Andrew, Nathan, me.
Much better.
Nathan, Andrew. I think. All right. So, Andrew goes first. Nathan, then me, Nathan, Andrew. All right. And the draft today is favorite holiday movies.
So, holiday movies, not just Christmas, just all holidays, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, my favorite holiday movie, number 1 for me, is really easy. I watched it growing up a lot, thought I hated it when I was a kid because my dad would make me watch all these Christmas movies. And then I watched this one year and I was kind of into it, but I didn't want to admit it because I don't want to be like, Dad, you're right. This movie's great. And then years later, I couldn't stop watching it. Every year at Christmas time, I have to watch The Year Without a Santa Claus. If you're not sure, that's the one with the heat miser and the snow miser. And they absolutely gold Christmas.
That is a classic. That is a classic.
See, exactly.
Well, I know this isn't really oh yeah, continue.
I was just going to say they need to make a live action with that, with Danny DeVito as the heat miser and Jeff Goldblum as the snow miser. And I would guarantee it blows up box office.
That's amazing.
It should. We'll have another petition. They had 800,000 signatures to get Danny DeVito to play Wolverine. I'm sure we could get the same for this.
And that shows how much signatures matter.
Nathan, what's your holiday pick?
Well, I know this isn't it is a Christmas one, a Christmas movie as well. And this is me saying that I believe it is the best Christmas movie ever made.
Say it.
Die Hard.
Elf.
That's what I was waiting for.
It's Elf.
Elf is, yes.
Elf is the best
Elf
Christmas
is a
movie.
really good. It's one of my favorites.
He took
one of my
my
favorites.
pick. All right.
Crap!
all right,
I'm sorry. I thought Andrew was going to say Elf. So
All right.
I
Elf
wanted
is
to, but I was like,
so good.
All right.
one of the only Will Ferrell movies I really enjoy.
Yep.
My number one pick
because it's not really a Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah.
Is going to be.
Oh, Josh is trying to do the whole whisper so that your kids pay attention to you thing, and I'm not going to do that.
I didn't even know that was the thing. But hey, Santa Claus 1 with Tim Allen.
The Santa Claus? Oh, okay.
Santa Claus.
I love all the other ones,
Show.
but the one where the dude falls off the roof and he's just like thrown into this whole world, and I love it. I love it.
That is a classic for sure.
Second choice is going to have to be Home Alone.
See, this is where I have to stop you because. Go ahead. You got it.
I don't like the fourth one at all. It's absolute garbage.
There's 4 of them?
The fourth one is about
They shouldn't have made it after the first one.
I thought there were 2.
Home Alone 1 is garbage. All of them are not good. I do not like those movies. First of all, let's talk about the major plot hole of the fact that the only reason that this happened is because the idiotic parents threw away Kevin McAllister's ticket in the trash in the opening scene of the movie. The whole thing should have been fine, but they show you in the beginning, they're like, it has like the trash can opens up, you see his plane ticket, and then they throw something away. And I'm like, wow. So this kid's just not
noticed that. I'm gonna have to look at that now.
Yes. And the whole thing happens because parents are terrible. They hate the kid, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna just misplace his ticket." And so the whole movie, they're like, "We don't know why you didn't get there. You threw away his ticket because you hate him. You threw him in the freaking attic with the demonic sounding fireplace thing, and poor guy's terrified. And then he has to defend his home against the world's worst freaking."
Home Alone 1 is my second favorite. It's good.
They're all garbage.
Home Alone 2
I only
is
recently
in New
saw
York.
the second one. Yeah, I
Home
only
Alone
recently
3
saw that one.
is with a different kid. He gets like a remote control car for Christmas, and it's like got like these secrets or something in it that these burglars want, and they track it down to his house. And then Home Alone 4, which is terrible, is like this rich kid, and it was terrible.
Also, side note, I'm glad you said that. So they recently came out with there was like some picture of like, it was like some fun fact about, they do like Christmas fun facts the month of December. So in the movie Home Alone, it cost like $19.84 for the whole cart of groceries that they had. And when they adjusted it for inflation, it cost almost $80. It was 44 in like 2020.
And then it went to 80.
And then it went to $80 this year. I was like, dude, that is insane. And they
bought,
don't even talk about the fact that like packages and things got smaller. There's less stuff in it, and we're paying like 5 times as much. It's nuts.
And his grocery list was like 12 items. It was like toilet paper, laundry detergent, a pack of toy army men, milk, bread, eggs, orange juice. And when I saw it, I was like, that would cost $8. I was like,
yeah, it was something like $74.
Toothbrush, shaving cream, I think, something like that. $20 for all that, and nowadays it's $80.
It's nuts.
That's
Nathan,
insane.
what's your number 2 choice?
Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a very off-the-wall choice. Not for everyone. It's claymation, stop-motion kind of thing. It's rather
not anymore.
Rather old now, and
I'm pretty sure it's live action.
I don't even know if it's one of my my second favorite holiday movie, but I think that I think the very fact of like what they did with it and the actual story, and I just feel like I'd never seen something like that before.
I don't like that movie, but can you do me a favor and stand up so I can read your shirt? Everything I know I learned on the streets. Okay.
Nice.
I just realized the title of this episode should be "Do We Have Autism?"
Do we have the tism?
But yeah,
I have a tickle. I have a tism. I have autism.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a really solid movie and interesting concept, and I think the execution was absolutely fantastic.
All right, Andrew, your number 2 choice.
My second choice isn't technically a Christmas movie, although I am sticking with the winter motif there.
Well, I
because
don't
for
know if
some
this
reason-
counts. Okay,
yeah.
so then mine is actually Avengers Endgame.
Confirmed by the
whenever
producer that Die Hard's a Christmas movie. So
when everybody turns
Oh,
to
you're
dust,
going
could
with
that
Die
be
Hard. Okay,
considered
no, Die Hard's
snow?
fine. Die Hard's fine.
no, I was not going with Die Hard. It is not a Christmas movie, and that's because it's a Hanukkah movie. And 8 Crazy Nights by Adam Sandler is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, a little bit on the languagey side, but great.
Hanukkah.
Dog, I
8
don't like
Crazy
the
Nights,
language, but
movie
I've
about
I've,
Hanukkah.
I've I've seen like Game of Thrones and crap, man. I can handle it. I just won't do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
Can't
highly
handle
suggest
it
you watch it. It's
yourself?
an animated Adam Sandler movie, and it's wonderful.
Animated? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
piqued
Crazy
his
Nights.
interest.
interesting.
Look at that
So
face.
so
Even
it's
got high
it's like that.
pitched.
It's like that turtle movie.
Am I too turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
No.
That's not it, but that's a classic. Cool. Well, sounds good.
All right,
Also, your
guys.
choices are trash.
It was a great episode. Once again, thank you for coming.
Yes. Yes.
Toodaloo.
Classic
Yippee-ki-yay,
classic little
mother
outro here.
bleep.
We appreciate if you've made it this far in the video, and if you are the kind to make it this far in the video and or audio podcast if you're listening to the audio version. Yeah, whatever platform you are watching on, give us some kind of rating, whether it's 5 stars, whether it's a like, a thumbs up, a comment,
Every
any kind
5
of way.
likes, Andrew will Venmo somebody.
This is a
$1.
lie. This is
Whoa,
not true.
No, I will not.
He is
But
not made of
I will
money.
issue the Nugget Challenge again.
Okay,
We need
are we
another
gonna?
random subscriber?
Are we
for a
doing the
nugget.
Nugget Challenge again?
I will do the Nugget Challenge again.
Okay.
Maybe people want
Got it
Big
last
Macs.
time.
Maybe people want a Big Mac instead of a nugget.
All right. Well, if you subscribe between this episode and next episode, or then like you'll get
There's a
a
possibility you get
nugget.
chicken nugget.
a chicken nugget mailed to you.
Email.
Emailed. Here's your picture.
It's a nuggie.
But yeah, if you can, any kind of interaction with the podcast, share with friends, like rating, anything like that, it goes a long way. Helps us in the charts, all that kind of stuff. And we just appreciate you sticking around, having fun with us, enjoying our ridiculous
sir.
ADHD chaotic
Nuggies
crap that
for
goes
thuggies,
down.
bro.
Nuggies for Thuggies 2023.
That's right.
About to be 2024. That's wild. So once again, appreciate it all. Love you guys. You're heroes and stuff. And
Bye.
I was Nathan. Goodbye.